Ava Collins was fixing her final slides when her phone lit up with her mother's name. She picked up, expecting a simple check-in. Instead, she heard ragged breathing and a trembling whisper begging for help. Her mother said she felt dizzy, alone, unable to breathe, afraid she might collapse. Ava froze as the office around her dissolved into panic. She slammed her laptop shut and canceled her biggest pitch without hesitation. Within minutes, she grabbed her coat, called a rideshare, and rushed to the airport. Her heart pounded as she booked the next flight home, any flight, no matter the cost. She spent the entire ride imagining the worst, replaying her mother's voice breaking. The fear felt real, urgent, undeniable. Ava believed she was racing against something life-threatening. She had no idea the truth waiting at home would hurt far more than any emergency. Ava landed just after sunrise and moved through the airport with a stiff, exhausted pace. Her mind replayed her mother's weak voice over and over until her chest tightened. She grabbed her suitcase and hurried outside, ignoring the cold air cutting at her skin. The taxi ride felt endless as every red light made her heartbeat spike with dread. When the house finally appeared, she almost ran to the door. Her hands shook as she unlocked it and pushed it open. She expected silence, maybe the faint sound of someone gasping for breath. Instead, she heard loud music thumping through the living room. Laughter echoed off the walls like a celebration she wasn't invited to. Ava froze, unsure if she had stepped into the wrong house. Then she saw Sophia dancing around with a half-packed suitcase. Her mother walked out from the kitchen, carrying a tray of snacks. She looked perfectly healthy, cheerful, even glowing. Ava stood there silently, unable to process the scene. Her mother noticed her and smiled like everything was normal. "Oh, honey, you made it just in time," she said casually. Ava stared, stunned, searching her mother's face for any sign of distress. There was none. Not a hint of dizziness, weakness, or panic. Sophia waved a sunscreen bottle in the air like a trophy. "We're leaving for Florida in an hour," she said brightly. Ava blinked, feeling something inside her crack. She asked where the emergency was, her voice barely steady. Sophia exchanged a quick look with their mother before answering. "Well, we kinda exaggerated things," she said with a nervous laugh. Ava felt her throat tighten as she tried to understand the words. Her mother stepped forward, avoiding eye contact. "We just needed you home to help with the kids," she explained softly. The room felt smaller, heavier, almost suffocating. Ava asked why they would lie about something so serious. Her mother sighed like the answer should be obvious. "You're the responsible one, sweetheart. You always come through." Ava felt a distant ringing in her ears as anger rose in her chest. She thought about the pitch she abandoned, the project she had fought for all year. She thought about the fear that kept her awake on the flight home. The fear that her mother might not survive the night. And now they were surrounded by beach towels and travel mugs. Her brother-in-law entered the room carrying 3 children's backpacks. He greeted Ava enthusiastically, unaware of the storm building inside her. One of the kids asked if Aunt Ava was coming on the trip. Ava could not form an answer. Her mother finally said they needed her to watch the children for 10 days. She said it gently, as if it were the most harmless request in the world. Ava felt the betrayal sink deep into her bones. She realized everyone here had known the truth except her. The entire family had conspired to pull her away from her life. She stood there, still in her wrinkled clothes from the night flight. Her suitcase at her feet, untouched. Her heart beating with disbelief and rising fury. In that moment, Ava understood something painful and unmistakable. She had not been called home out of love or fear. She had been summoned out of convenience. Ava stood in the middle of the living room, while the noise around her kept buzzing like static. Her mother continued packing snacks, as if nothing unusual had happened. Sophia tied her hair into a ponytail, humming a vacation playlist. No one seemed to understand the gravity of what they had done. Ava finally inhaled sharply, grounding herself before she spoke. Her voice came out low but steady, cutting through the room. What you did was wrong. The laughter died instantly. Sophia turned, confused by Ava's tone. Her mother slowly set down the tray on the counter. Ava repeated herself, louder this time. What you did was cruel, and I won't pretend it was. Her mother frowned, as if Ava were overreacting. Honey, we just needed help. You're the reliable one. Ava felt a cold wave roll through her. I am not your backup plan, she said firmly. Sophia crossed her arms defensively. You're blowing this out of proportion. It's just babysitting. Ava shook her head, unable to hide her disbelief. You lied about being sick. You made me think you were in danger. Her mother tried to interject, but Ava held up a hand. I canceled the biggest pitch of my career because you said you couldn't breathe. Silence hit harder than any accusation. Sophia shifted uncomfortably, guilt flickering in her eyes. Her mother finally spoke, softer than before. We knew you wouldn't come home otherwise. Ava felt those words slice through her. So you manipulated me, she replied calmly. Her mother winced but didn't deny it. Ava stepped back, distancing herself from all of them. I'm staying here for 2 weeks like I planned, she said. But I am not watching the kids. The statement dropped like a stone in the room. Sophia blinked rapidly, stunned. Wait, you're kidding, right? Ava didn't flinch. No, I'm done. I'm not sacrificing my life because you refuse to plan yours. Her brother-in-law appeared in the doorway, sensing tension. He asked what was happening, but no one answered him. Her mother pressed her fingers to her forehead, as if Ava were the problem. This is a family trip. We counted on you, she said sharply. Ava met her gaze without hesitation. You counted on me giving up everything without question. Sophia's voice rose, frustrated and shaky. If you don't help, we can't go to the resort. The kids aren't allowed there. Ava felt the old instinct to fix things, to step in, to save them. But she pushed it away. That is not my responsibility, she said quietly. Her mother looked betrayed, almost offended. You've changed, she whispered. Ava nodded once. Yes, and that's a good thing. Sophia huffed angrily, grabbing a suitcase and muttering under her breath. The kids watched from the hallway, sensing grown-up tension but not understanding it. Her mother finally snapped. Fine, we'll figure it out ourselves. Ava didn't argue. For the first time in her life, she let their anger stay with them instead of absorbing it. As they resumed packing in chaotic silence, Ava felt an unfamiliar sensation. It wasn't guilt. It was relief. A line had been drawn, sharp and unmistakable. She had finally said no. That night, Ava sat on the edge of her bed, the house quiet except for distant sounds of packing. Her mother appeared, leaning against the doorframe, hesitant and tired. Ava didn't move. She waited for the words she had longed to speak. Finally, her mother said, I didn't want to hurt you. Ava laughed softly, a bitter, hollow sound. Hurt me? You lied, manipulated, and expected me to drop everything. Her mother looked down, shame flickering across her face. I thought you'd understand. You always step in. Ava shook her head slowly. Understand. I've been understanding my whole life while everyone else does what they want. Her mother sighed, sitting on the edge of the bed beside her. I know you feel like you carry more than your share. Ava's throat tightened. It's not just feeling. It's reality. I've been the one to compromise, sacrifice, forgive. And Sophia, she asked, voice breaking slightly. She's always treated differently. You know that. Her mother nodded, silent, as if admitting it would hurt her too much. Ava looked out the window, seeing the moonlight touch the quiet street. I'm tired of being convenient, tired of being the one people rely on while my needs don't exist. Her mother's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't speak. I've lost count of how many times I gave up my dreams for this family, Ava continued. Every major opportunity, every choice I wanted for myself, I shelved it. Her mother finally reached for Ava's hand, tentative, unsure. I never meant to make you feel that way, she said softly. But you did. You do, every time you expect me to drop my life and meet your needs first. Ava pulled her hand back gently, keeping her distance. I've been complicit too, though. I've accepted it, thinking it's love or duty. Her mother's shoulders slumped, a quiet acknowledgement of years lost. I know, she whispered. The room was heavy, with years of unspoken resentment. Ava continued, voice firm, almost shaking with emotion. I don't want to be invisible in my own life anymore. Her mother nodded, tears streaming silently now. I see that, she said. And it hurts, because I wanted to believe family meant unconditional support, Ava said. Her mother looked away, unable to meet her gaze. It's just, we didn't know how to balance it, or maybe we were too selfish. Ava felt a mix of sadness and clarity. I've been a caretaker for too long. I've been valued only when convenient. Her mother whispered, I'm sorry, Ava, I really am. I know, Ava said, voice steady now. But knowing doesn't change the years of feeling used, of being overlooked. Her mother nodded, tears falling freely now. I've hurt you, I see that now, she admitted. Ava's chest felt lighter, though heavy with lingering pain. I need to live for me now, not because I want revenge, but because I deserve it. Her mother remained silent, letting her words settle. For the first time, Ava understood. She could love her family without losing herself. She could set boundaries and still care, but not at the expense of her own life. The night stretched quietly, holding both tension and a fragile understanding. Ava lay back, feeling a strange release in her chest. Years of unspoken resentment had surfaced, and finally had space to breathe. She didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but she knew one thing clearly. Her life, her choices, her freedom, they finally belonged to her. The next morning, Ava woke to the sound of suitcases being dragged across hardwood floors. Her mother and Sophia were bustling, voices tense, full of last-minute arguments. Ava sat at the kitchen table, sipping coffee, observing without a word. Her mother glanced at her, eyes pleading, but Ava remained calm. You're ready, right? Her mother asked nervously. Ava shook her head slowly. I'm staying here. I won't be babysitting. Sophia froze mid-step, hands on a suitcase, mouth open. What, seriously? She said, voice high with panic. Yes, seriously, Ava replied, tone firm, steady. Her mother sighed, exasperated but didn't argue. We can't leave the kids behind, she said, frustration evident. Ava nodded, acknowledging the statement without conceding. So what will you do? Sophia demanded, packing. They're your responsibility, not mine, Ava said quietly. Her mother pinched the bridge of her nose, muttering under her breath. The room fell into chaotic silence, everyone adjusting to this new reality. Ava's brother-in-law appeared carrying backpacks, looking confused and worried. We'll just take the kids with us, he said finally. Her mother shot him a glance, unsure if it was a good idea. Ava remained calm, watching the tension ripple through the family. They argued over logistics, packing, and timing, voices overlapping. Ava finished her coffee slowly, feeling a strange clarity wash over her. She didn't need to participate, didn't need to fix anything. The house hummed with anxiety, but she was detached, observing like an outsider. Sophia stomped around, complaining loudly about schedules and rules. Her mother snapped back, voice rising, clearly stressed. Ava stayed seated, letting the chaos unfold around her. For the first time, she wasn't dragged into the drama. Her family flailed, scrambling to adjust without her compliance. Ava's heart was calm, her mind free of the usual guilt and obligation. She realized how heavy her life had been when she carried everyone else's needs. Her mother finally closed the suitcase with a frustrated slam. Okay, fine, we'll manage, she said, voice tight. Sophia muttered angrily but stopped arguing, resigned. Her brother-in-law adjusted the car seats in silence, tension palpable. Ava watched them load the car, the air thick with irritation and urgency. Her mother turned to look at Ava one last time before getting into the car. "Be careful," she said, almost a whisper, eyes conflicted. Ava nodded, giving a small, calm smile. The car pulled away, leaving Ava standing in the quiet house. She felt the weight of years lift slightly from her shoulders. The silence was refreshing, almost foreign after decades of chaos. Ava walked through the empty rooms, breathing deeply, feeling free. She finally understood what it meant to set boundaries and enforce them. For the first time, she wasn't anyone's caretaker, pawn, or convenient solution. The house belonged to her alone for these 2 weeks, a space to think and breathe. Ava felt a thrill of possibility, a surge of independence. She knew this calm wouldn't last forever, but she welcomed it fully. It was a taste of the life she had always wanted, but never allowed herself. Standing there, she realized that freedom could be quiet, patient, and deeply satisfying. And in that quiet, Ava felt the first real sense of control in her own life. Ava sat at the kitchen table, scrolling through her phone as notifications kept piling up. Texts, calls, and group messages flashed across the screen in frantic succession. Her mother begged for advice on managing the kids at the resort. Sophia complained about rules and schedules, clearly panicked. Her brother-in-law messaged questions about last-minute reservations and activities. Ava read every message calmly, feeling a strange detachment. The usual urge to respond, to fix, to save, was absent. She took a deep breath and set her phone down. For the first time, she chose not to be pulled into their chaos. The sense of relief surprised her, a lightness she hadn't felt in years. Ava stood, stretching, and walked to the window. She watched sunlight glint off the street, the quiet contrasting sharply with the frenzy online. Her mind wandered to possibilities she had never allowed herself. A spontaneous thought surfaced, thrilling and bold. She could leave, she could go somewhere for herself. Somewhere that wasn't a duty, a responsibility, or a family obligation. Ava opened her laptop and searched flights, her heart beating faster with excitement. She chose Barbados almost instinctively, picturing sun, sea, and solitude. The booking was quick, but each click felt like reclaiming a piece of her life. She bought the ticket without hesitation, a decision purely for herself. Her hands shook slightly, but with anticipation, not fear. Ava imagined walking on the beach, eating whatever she pleased, resting as long as she wanted. No schedules, no guilt, no interruptions. She smiled at the thought, feeling a deep satisfaction settle in her chest. A few more messages popped up, pleading and panicked, but she ignored them. Her family's emergencies were no longer her responsibility. She packed lightly, choosing only the essentials for her escape. Every item she placed in her suitcase felt like shedding old expectations. She took one last look at the quiet house, her sanctuary for these hours. Ava felt a surge of confidence she hadn't known she possessed. Her previous self, the one who would have immediately responded and canceled her plans, seemed distant. This was a new Ava, one who prioritized her happiness unapologetically. She imagined arriving in Barbados and stepping onto warm sand, the breeze brushing her face. The thought filled her with a giddy, almost rebellious joy. Ava smiled again, this time fully, freely, without hesitation. She checked the flight details, confirming everything, her heartbeat steady but excited. Her parents' messages still came, anxious and desperate, but she remained unmoved. She realized she had transformed from the girl who always said yes. Now, she was the woman who said yes to herself first. Ava shut her laptop, feeling a sense of finality and freedom. She poured herself a cup of coffee, savoring it slowly, deliberately. Everything she had long denied herself seemed possible in this moment. Her heart was lighter, her mind clear, her future suddenly wide open. Packing the last items into her bag, Ava felt a thrill of independence she hadn't known existed. She was leaving, not to escape, but to reclaim herself. Her phone buzzed again, but she ignored it, stepping into the life she had chosen. Ava Collins was finally in control, her own master, free to pursue happiness on her terms. Ava stepped off the plane in Barbados, the warm air instantly wrapping around her. She felt the sun on her skin, a sharp contrast to the stress she left behind. Her luggage was light, her schedule non-existent. Every step on the tarmac felt like a small act of rebellion. She grabbed a taxi and watched the island blur past her window. The palm trees swayed lazily, indifferent to her past worries. Ava checked into a small beachfront hotel, the staff greeting her with smiles. She walked into her room and felt the space breathe with freedom. The balcony overlooked the turquoise sea, waves rolling gently onto the shore. Ava let herself sink into a chair, sipping a cool drink she hadn't bought for anyone else. She opened a book but didn't feel rushed to read. Time was hers alone, unmeasured and generous. The next morning, she woke with the sun and walked barefoot along the sand. The water lapped at her ankles, warm and soothing. She laughed quietly at the sensation, a spontaneous sound of joy. No responsibilities, no family demands, no guilt. Ava joined a small yoga class on the beach, breathing deeply, feeling tension melt away. She met travelers from other countries, strangers with stories, laughter, and curiosity. Each conversation felt light, free, unburdened by expectation. She ate meals slowly, savoring flavors, enjoying food for the first time in ages. Breakfast on the balcony became a ritual, peaceful and intentional. Ava let herself nap under the sun, without fear of being judged. Evenings were long, with music from local bars drifting across the sand. She watched sunsets in silence, feeling her heart calm. Messages from home still came, but she ignored them, choosing her peace. She reflected on her family, understanding their chaos without letting it pull her in. Ava realized that love didn't require sacrificing herself. She swam in the sea, letting waves wash away lingering tension. She journaled, capturing thoughts and feelings she had suppressed for years. Every word was a step toward clarity and self-understanding. Ava explored the island slowly, finding hidden beaches and quiet cafes. She tried new foods, learned a few phrases in the local language, embraced novelty. She felt confident navigating alone, independent, fully herself. The island became her teacher, showing patience, stillness, and self-care. Each day, she woke with intention, choosing herself first. No one dictated her schedule or her emotions. Ava felt her old role, caretaker, problem solver, convenient daughter, slipping away. Freedom was exhilarating, yet calm, grounding her in the present. She realized happiness could be deliberate, chosen, not conditional on others. Ava laughed more than she had in years, pure and unself-conscious. She allowed herself indulgences without guilt, from late breakfasts to long swims. She met other solo travelers and forged light, meaningful connections. At night, she lay on the balcony, listening to waves, reflecting on growth. Ava felt a deep sense of accomplishment. She had reclaimed her life. Each day in Barbados reinforced her autonomy, her clarity, her joy. She knew she could return home without losing this sense of self. Ava Collins had stepped into a new chapter of freedom, healing, and self-love. And in this island paradise, she finally understood what it meant to prioritize herself completely. Ava watched the sun dip below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. She felt the cool breeze on her face and the soft sand under her feet. Her phone buzzed with messages from home, but she ignored them. The chaos and demands no longer held power over her. For the first time, she prioritized herself completely. She reflected on the weeks behind, the lies and the manipulations. The anger and hurt had faded into clarity and resolve. Ava realized freedom was not just a place, but a choice she made daily. She had learned to set boundaries, and honor her own needs. The island had shown her peace, joy, and self-discovery. She smiled, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment and relief. Her family's drama continued, but it no longer defined her. Ava knew she could love them without losing herself. She had reclaimed control over her life and her happiness. The future was uncertain, but she faced it confidently, on her own terms. Ava took a deep breath, savoring the moment fully and without guilt. She stepped back from the water, feeling strong, free, and entirely herself. For the first time, her life belonged to her alone. And with that, Ava Collins began her journey of true independence and self-love.